What is going on, guys? Got a little difficulty there with the music at the beginning. So it's quite all right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get this started tonight, episode 236. I'm going to talk about comedy and pain and exactly where they fit in together. We know they fit in. We know, but I'm going to talk about that. But first and foremost, as I always do, folks, through every episode, every time I get on the internet, every time I scroll through, every time I do what I do, I see people struggling. And I say this type stuff week after week after week, that I see this. So before I talk about comedy and pain, per se, I want to talk about the stuff that I observed every week. As I was saying, when I get on the internet, there's people that are in places that you have no absolute idea that they are in these places. There's people who are not going to let you know by any means that they are in. So be nice, be kind. No matter who they are, no matter what it is, everybody's going through something. Okay? Excuse me. I work with people who I know, and when we go to lunch or we go out in public, you can just look around and you can see the suffering. And some in silence. You don't know or have to know what they're suffering with or what they're going through. But there are people there, I promise you, of all ages, as far as that matter goes. So be kind. I always want to say things in an encouraging word like that. I always want to try my best to tell people to not be a certain way. I've been there. We've all been there. And I've learned that some things in life, if we just simply hear somebody tell us, that it's okay. If we simply hear somebody, in a different way telling us, you can do this. This was meant for you, or you can do this. Don't give up. And I really believe, really believe that a smile and an encouraging word can go a long way. So many people suffer. So many people do things in silence. We're not going to know who they are. We're not going to act like we know who they are. But you don't have to really, nobody has to tell you that in order for you to truly learn or understand, shall I say, that we all hurt. And I do say things like that because, the truth is, I remember talking one time in conversation to a guy I'd met, and when we're sitting there, having a few beers, kicking back, this is when I drank, it doesn't matter the context, the backstory, because I don't want to act like I'm saying something I shouldn't say. He's not going to hear it to defend himself or whatever the case may be. But he got me thinking that the situation that he was talking about in the conversation was about misunderstandings and things like that. And it just got me thinking that people, not just him, are in places. And I know we've heard that. And I know we always, hear things like that. And people say those, oh, that's cliche-ish, big beard, or, oh, that's, I've heard that before. I've heard, you can hear it before, but sometimes it helps to hear things from different perspectives. It's a hard thing to talk about because everybody thinks that their opinion matters more than the next person. And that's all it comes down to, is an opinion. Even what I'm saying all this time, even what I'm doing and how I'm, talking about what I'm talking about on my mind. You can easily look at me and talk about me and say, oh, look, but it's not easy. But what I want to focus on is tonight, we're going to talk about comedy and pain. And it's kind of weird. If you take the word comedy, it's a professional entertainment consisting of jokes and satirical sketches. It's intended to something to make the audience laugh, right? Well, how far do you go to get that laughter? Do you go far? Do you go few in between? Is it just comedy? You know, is it these films and plays that broadcast what you got going on? Is that how you relate to them? You know, if something's humorous or amusing, usually there's laughter in there. It does something to your body. It literally makes you be in a certain way. You release, what is it? You release endorphins or whatever it is, and it makes you feel absolutely great. When you think of comedy, do you like the gut-busting laugh? Do you like the comedy of life? Do you like, say, jokes that are slapstick humor? Do you like things like Three Stooges? Do you like a good joke? Do you like sketch comedy? Do you like theatrical comedy? Do you like real comedy? Made-up comedy? Or just comedy and humor? The world is based on comedy. One of them, if you, a comedy definition is like a play, a movie, or that light of a human's character with that happy or cheerful ending of and you root for them, and, you got comedy, but something happens to them because they trip and fall, or whatever it may be. Comedy comes in many different forms, but it does make us laugh, as I was saying. We love it when we're watching something and you feel it deep down inside, the laughter. We love that when we see somebody or something that is a prank or a joke or even little small humor, it does something to us, right? And even if it's light, it's amusing, it's like a play with a happy ending, like I said, those kind of things make us put us in good moods, and the amusing situations that people get in comedies and old sketch comedies is it has its way of going, oh, I can relate to that. I love that. I love the characters. And even if you're watching something and you say you hate the characters, you really need to understand, oh, I can't stand him, oh gosh, I blah blah blah, or I can't stand her, or realize that they're actually doing their job. Isn't that weird? They're doing their job. If that comedy or that bit makes them hate you, and they're supposed to be a hateable character, you can relate to that. Comedy is like consists of like discourses of works intended to be like humorous by inducing laughter. So the laughter that we know puts us, like I said, in these fantastic moods, gets our endorphins going, gets our, body moving the way we need to be moving inside, and makes you feel good and things flowing. I think it's a very important thing. I don't think we get enough comedy. I don't think we laugh enough. I think that I laugh all the time, and I think people get mad at me because I do find humor in a lot of things. But I am comfortable with knowing where we're at and what we are and what we're doing as a whole, I don't know. I like to laugh. Who doesn't like to laugh? I don't know anybody that says, willingly, oh, I'm just a true stump on a log. I don't deal with nothing. I don't want to deal with nobody. I don't want to deal with no thing. I don't know. Maybe people do that. Maybe they really are. I think there's probably people that truly walk around comedy less. Is that a word? Can I say that just for a moment in time? Comedyless, non-comedic, non-funny, where nothing's funny to them. And I don't know. I don't know how you can't think things in the world or not. You can look at ourselves. We can look at each other. You could see classic definitions of comedy in life, let alone everyday stuff. That light humorous tone that depicts like incidences and amusing accidents, that's usually what gets our laughter going. I mean, it's for adversity's sake. The character usually wins, and they do all that, and there's always a plot to movies, and when it comes to that, and that's all right. All right, the purpose of a comedy, the aim of a comedy is to make the audience laugh. There's no other about you. There's nothing else that needs to be touched. It is comedy. It, for a fact, is one of the things that will make you feel good. I can't stress that enough. We do have that. But, on the flip side of comedy, you have your up, smiley face and you have a frowny face. We have pain. It's that physical suffering, that discomfort caused by like illness or injury, it's that careful effort. We have pain. And that is a whole different, mental pain, physical pain. I mean, it pains me to say this type of stuff, What is the full meaning of pain? It's a localized or generalized, unpleasant bodily sensation or complex of sensations that causes mild to severe physical discomfort and emotional stress on top of that. And it's not a joke. Pain hurts. It's not one of those things that we take lightly. So on the flip side, I was saying we have comedy, we have pain. I think the comedy helps heal the pain in places and makes us where we need to be, puts us where we have to be. And you have pain, though pain comes along with you have music, we have, like I said, it's an unpleasant sensory, an emotional experience associated with such, actual or potential things. You can have pain emotional, you can have pain physical, which could lead, physical pain is not good for anybody to go through. Never seen the use in people wanting pain. We don't that feeling of discomfort that you have, whether, like I said, it's mental, physical, or something that is a situation for you. Pain can be hard. So, and it says, what is pain in my own words? It's an example when you've been hurt or when you're ill. People hide behind pain. What do? We put on the guise of a smile. We go and try to enjoy life. We have learned in our lives to smile through the BS. Pain is not something you always see. And to me, that's one of the worst. You may know someone, you may be even someone who is going through pain on the inside. Maybe you have an illness. Maybe you have a disease. Maybe you have stuff you don't feel like talking to people about. Maybe you feel like you don't want to be around anybody. Maybe you feel like you don't want to exist. And let me tell you something. That's not a way to be. You're somebody. So if you are in that state of pain, know that you're not alone, but it's not always easy to get somebody to admit that stuff. I'm telling my son the other day and telling my children the other day, both of them, matter of fact, both of my daughter and my son, that there's people that want attention. And usually when they out doing stuff or saying they're doing this or that, they're not doing anything. And then there's people who need attention, but they won't show that. What I mean is they're there. They are the ones that are going through you can call it invisible pain. You can really call it whatever you want, but I promise you, as I always do, you don't have to look far to truly find somebody. But you may be harder than you think at looking and seeing at the people that are the happiest, the people that are always there, the people that always want to be by your side. That's not always true, but they are people that absolutely you'll never know. And that's the hard part. The hard part of knowing or not knowing. I say at the beginning, we got comedy. And we know what comedy is, right? So you counteract that you got pain. So it's almost like the comedy was made to take the place of the pain, which I almost bet you somebody had to sit down and go through some bad things. Can you imagine the first time you told a joke or told a story and somebody laughed? Like the first time in history. It's going to be hard to fathom that, but I mean like the first time ever a joke was told, somebody laughed. How would that make you feel? How do you think that went away? Do people look and go, oh, wow, you're onto something. We need to do that more often. That's what we need. Or did somebody go and continue into a bellowing laughter? Kind of makes you wonder, like, who said the comedy was first? Where did it come from? I think you can look this up. I think it goes way back when. But I assure you that I can only imagine like a caveman or I don't know, an Egyptian or somebody like tripped one day and fell or did something and didn't get hurt, and they got a laughter out of it. When was the first prank comedy? But see, the pain does go with comedy. That is something that I wanted to address tonight. And when you think about it, well, you can, there's examples all day long, but to make an audience laugh, to make someone laugh is hard. It's comedy is that type of entertainment that typically aims to make the audience laugh. I don't know. I feel like a broken record, like I just keep saying that, but it can be done through various means, like joke, satire, or just funny situations, right? And then we go back to pain. It's that, like I said, that feeling of great discomfort. Does pain mean suffering? How about look at things like that? Instead of focusing on comedy, which comedy is not suffering. Comedy is happiness. Comedy is somewhere that we make people laugh. We give them that good feeling. But pain does not necessarily entail the suffering that comes, it's a threat against the intactness, if you will, of a person. A lot of things in the pain that we have and people have are caused by other experiences, not necessarily physical. A lot of our pains are mental. I got friends, I was saying, I know people and family. They were asking me, well, how do I explain my pain? How do I explain my pain meaning? And so pain is it's a distressing feeling, right? Often caused by that intense or damaged stimuli or the sensation of discomfort. It can be experienced in any part of the human body. And a lot of the pain that we have, if, like I said, you have a disease or you have something that ails you, if you will, with nothing but respect to anyone, if you have a handicap, I believe it makes it that much harder, even on you, but it makes you stronger. Some people feel that pain that they have inside and they don't say anything. So they want to suffer. They want to resist, And in reality, resisting makes the pain bigger, stronger, and more intractable. It adds this layer of suffering on top of pain, that keeping us stuck in narratives about ourselves and the world. It's trapped in the emotions like despair, anger, shame, and unhappiness. We have so much pain in this world. I mean, in my own words, or your own words, pain. I think I'm going to call it, in my own words, pain is something that makes you or breaks you or can even take you. But we have to learn. Sometimes you can grow with pain. Sometimes that's what we must do. You dig? A bad or unpleasant physical feeling often caused by injury or illness that you want to stop, or an emotional feeling of this type, like your whole perspective on life changes when you're in pain in here. You're in pain in here, and you're in pain all over. Mental, physical, heartfelt. You see, when people feel pain, I say in all types of ways, when specific nerves called, I think it's nociceptors, detect tissue damage and transform or transmit information about that damage along the spinal cord to the brain, making you feel. And I'm just summing it up and using examples. I'm not know anything, but there is a point where pain becomes suffering. I can talk about that at another time. Pain becomes suffering. The progression is essentially okay. It's essentially as follows. Okay, pain leads to negative thoughts, self-talk, beliefs, and that leads to feelings of frustration, anger, anxiety, sadness, fear, depression, hopelessness. That's the one that gets people that we don't think about, is hopelessness, okay? It's a hard one. But that leads to suffering and leads to muscle tension, and stress leads to more pain and leads to this increased negative thought, self-talk, and beliefs, and all this leads to suffering. I promise, folks, that we can talk about comedy all day and we'll probably talk forever. Nobody really wants to talk about the pain. Did someone do you wrong? Did the situation not happen? Did you lose someone? Are you in a relationship that went sour? Pain. People often ask, and people do this, we're going to talk it. Because I talk about everything under the sun, including the sun. Why would God create pain? They want to know that. Why is that there? Why? If it's real, if this is real, why is the pain there? Why have I experienced pain? The pain we experience is the natural result of our own choices or of living in painfully broken world. God doesn't enjoy people's pain, but he does allow them to experience pain. Like any responsible parent, sometimes he imposes painful consequences designed to correct his children. It's not to bring them down. I'm not going to preach, but there's so much more. And the fact is, whether you're a religious person or whether you're not a religious person, if you are in the field of living, you've went through pain. One of the worst pains that a human, they say, can feel. There's a lot of them. There's several things that they say that we would lose our mind over. But more so, The physical stuff is what gets us, you know. The stuff that we have in our lives that we love, people. People is some of the most pain bringer on. You know what I mean? They cause some of the most pain that I have ever known, or that you may ever know. We do have the comedy part. I always speak of comedy. I love comedy. I love humor. Those who know that, those who do, I mean, we could just have more in the world of it, period. And I think we would be better people if we just had certain things in our lives, which comedy was great. But the pain, and I wanted to keep this kind of yin and yang thing right tonight, because I think that they do go hand in hand. And I think it's hard for people to understand. We can laugh at ourselves, and that's fine. Well, pain brings on laughter. Sometimes some of the best stuff has probably been written and wrote at a time that, you know, it shouldn't have been written and wrote. I'm sure some of the best and some of the worst things have happened in the name of comedy and the physical suffering of others. I think that all of us can do a little bit better in the world. I don't care what you are doing financially. I don't care what you're doing at your job. I don't care what you act like or what you're going through. We could all be a little bit more kinder to people. And I'm serious. All that makes us, we don't like always hearing things. When I talk about the worst pains ever, just a few, I'm not talking about kidney stones, which are worse, childbirth trauma, shingles, post-surgery pain and recovery, or major joint, or osteoarthritis, all that's going to happen. I am talking about, however, the stuff that we know that brings us down. But always try to find the comedy. Always try to find what makes people happy. Always try to find what makes people do good. Because let me tell you something. Comedy is hard. It's a hard pill to get and a hard pill to swallow sometimes, because it can be tongue in cheek and people like to. Now, I don't want to offend people, or I don't want to do this. I work with a guy. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll go ahead and tell on him. I work with a boss right now who has a sense of humor that I understand and that we get along just great. And if you ever seen us at work talk, you'd feel like these guys are absolutely nuts. And maybe you have that too. But look, comedy and pain and comedy, you got to learn to smile through the BS, and you got to learn to never let them know when you have real pain. You have to smile. I think that was a great Tupac. You said that. You've got to learn to smile through the bullshit. Okay. Anyway, those 3 words that I say that bring us out of here week after week after week, I think you know them and I know them. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And if you're in the eye of the hurricane right now, you're fine. If you're in the path of it, I'm sorry. And for most of us watching down here where we're at right now, it is actually over, and we are not having to deal with any of that at the moment. So we will do what we do and stay safe, and we will continue to try to stay safe, and you do the same. Wherever you're at or whatever it is you're doing. Love, peace, chicken grease. It just stopped, right? We don't even know what's going on anymore. We're having problems left and right in here. It may be some of the weather. So whatever you're doing or whatever you're going through, I want you to stop and drop and be good. I don't know. Music's not going to play again tonight. It played, but was it? The weather is having a big part of this. So I guess I've just got to chalk it up as a loss. Whatever you're going through, like a broken record, do it with stride, love, peace, chicken grease. I guess I'm just going to keep going with it. If you or somebody you know are down and out, stop it. Quit being hard on yourself.
Presentation.